I'm the voice, and this is a Divi community-produced video from the Foundation. Episode 16, and boy, have we got a talk for you. How's it going, guys?
It's going good.
It's going great, as usual.
It's going super great for
Bitcoin just
some
passed
people
100K.
100K,
Yeah.
I know. Can you believe that?
This on the day?
Yeah,
We're
that's
recording this
crazy.
on the day that Bitcoin went past 100K. We're all kind of excited, and so yay! That's what is that? December 5th. Yay!
That's right.
December
So
5th.
the episode will only go on December 17th. It's just to adapt with the Christmas break. We just don't want to have too long of a break. So I thought it would be an interesting situation because we just passed 100K. We're currently at 103. And it didn't really validate that. It could still go down. So I thought it was a good idea to kind of try to make speculation of where we think it will be when that video goes out. So on the 17th. So where do you think it will be?
Okay, my
In
guess
a week and a half.
in a week and a half. I'm guessing 120.
Okay.
Okay, that was going to be my guess. So I'll say 125.
125. Okay. So I'm not sold yet on the fact
Yeah.
that we passed 100. So
Yeah.
I think there is a chance that we are actually lower than now.
Yeah, but is that is that
I'm
a greater
thinking.
chance?
I don't know if I want to take that decision yet.
Remember the time of year that we had? Just remember the time of year when we had that pre-2020, we could call it a pump if we had that. It was always November and December, and that wasn't usually the peak. I remember being at a conference that must have been around 2017, and they said, raise your hand if you think it's going to be X. And of course, I was the lone guy who said, in this audience, it was like 70 people sitting in these chairs listening to this guy talk. And there was maybe one or two of us that raised our hands, and it was over 15. And we already know what it went to. It went over 15. I think we're at that moment where it's that later fourth quarter feeling. We'll see around the 17th. Maybe I'm totally blowing smoke, but I think it could go higher than 125.
Dude, don't you know how this works? We pick numbers, and if we're right, we're geniuses, and if we're wrong, we forget about it.
Look, if I'm right and it's
right.
over,
Yeah, that's right. It works like that. So just to clarify, in 2017, was it 2017 when it did the top? Yes. In 2017, it was 21st of December.
Correct.
When it hit like 19,600.
Yep.
And then it was the top. I remember because it was like I just started to be really interested into blockchain and crypto at that time. So I'll say 85.
You'll say
Just
85.
Just
Say
be
85.
the one with the other opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a North American blockchain conference, I think. I think the following year, or maybe it was that same year, I met everybody at Divi at one of those conferences. Anyway, I'm just going to let you guys know that if it goes over 125, because if I'm right and it does go over that, I will be starting a Patreon channel where people can send me money, $5 a month. Maybe I'll start a foundation where you can send me lots of money, and I will write you. I will write you an article
That's how we
every
can hear
month.
you're not a professional. You would be asking for $100.
Oh, $100. Okay, so then I will have a
Shut up. I'm
program.
putting in my stops because Neeg said 85.
85. What's that educational website, Moodle? I'll do a Moodle where I'll teach you how to read the algorithms. It'll be great.
I don't need to say not financial advice because
Of course.
by the time the video goes out, it will be the prediction we're making. So.
Exactly. It's not financial advice. We're just having fun.
A bunch of trader retards saying numbers. That's all we are.
I've seen this before. It was like Neeg's with Windows Paint drawing lines everywhere.
So when did you guys buy Bitcoin first? When did you get really into crypto?
2013.
Oh, yeah.
I started buying at 1,200 or 1,100.
It was 1,100. Mhm.
Yeah, and then I kept buying until 250.
Yes, I
feeling a little
understand
bit
that.
dumber every other week. I was buying, I don't remember, like $200 worth.
That was the same year for me.
Yeah, and then I was just feeling dumber and dumber every other week, and then it turned around, and then it got to 1,000 again. I wasn't feeling so dumb anymore, and then I can't remember, but it was either that bull or the net. I think it was that bull because I think it went up pretty high on that bull. It went up to like 18 or something. I can't remember on that bull, but I stopped buying, and I never should have stopped. Like I was spending 200 a week. It wasn't that bad, and I just never should have stopped. And that was just one of my many errors. So
Well, if you guys have heard my story before, I don't need to rehash it. But 2013. But my friend Brian, I actually asked him if I could use his name, who got me involved early, mid 2010, late 2010, 2011, somewhere in there. I got to find those notes on it. And he was trying to send me Bitcoin. I couldn't sync my full Bitcoin node. That was something that I was encouraged to run even back then. I will tell you that he was trying to send me, I think it was, now maybe he'll correct me, but I think it was either 100 or 1,000 Bitcoin. So we're talking about it early on. I was never able to get that Bitcoin he was trying to send me. He was enjoying it, having a good time. So, yeah, I could have been a crypto millionaire, I suppose.
it's funny. I don't know if you're looking at yourself, but it looks like you keep looking under the table.
Right. I'm looking
Seems
at this
broken
spreadsheet in front of me. That's what I'm looking at. So
Okay. What's under the table?
It looks like you're looking at it under the table.
like this, like this.
No, it was doing something different before.
Yeah, no, it's well, probably because I have this beanie on my head. You can't see it in the camera, but I've got a beanie on my head, and I've got these headphones on. Who knows what it thinks he's trying to overlay over my face? Sorry,
But
anyway, so
yeah, so Voice, you've been in this as long as me. Are you a millionaire?
no. Well, I eat and sleep crypto. That means crypto for me is buying food. It's not like I'm hodling. I eat my crypto, right?
Yeah. It's funny. I have friends who know I've been in this since 2013. I told them to buy Bitcoin like in 2014, and they didn't know what to do with it. They just bought a few, and then they just have it, and now they're like, holy crap. And then they assume I was smart this whole time, and then I'm a bazillionaire. And I'm like, no, like not even close. And so like I told you, the first mistake I did was to stop buying it, like what you can afford.
Yeah.
Like for 10 years, I could have been buying what I could afford for 10 years. And I don't know why I stopped. I just did. And then the next mistake I did was I told myself, oh, that ICO crap looks stupid. And I'm not doing that. And then I had friends, they're like, look at this. Yeah, I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to go into projects that I think are good. Like I'll do ICOs, but I'm going to vet the project. So I did some awesome projects like My Wish, worth 0. Neblio, now worth 0.
With 0.
And so forth. I mean, that was a long history of just losing money. I was am heavily invested in Divi, and we know what the story is there. However, out of all of those, I still, what the work that's happening in Divi, I think we're going to come back around on that one. It'll be one of the few cases of cryptos that do that. So it's only because we've got knowledge about how the how clean the code is, the work that was actually done that couldn't be seen publicly. I don't mean it was secret. I mean,
correct.
When you fix the inside of a car, the car doesn't look better, right? So anyway, a lot in Divi, and me not being also ballsy enough. Like I don't know how to trade. I'm literally a trader moron. So like.
Yeah.
So many times I put a stop in, the price touches it and then shoots off. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've done that. And so all my stuff gets sold and then the price takes off. I have a long habit of doing terrible trading decisions. It's just not my thing. For me, it's just a line that moves randomly. And I honestly believe most of it is homeopathy. Like, I really think like all of this is like all that TA stuff. I think it's a lot of people getting lucky.
See, I like homeopathy. Don't tease the homeopathics out there.
I'm definitely not aligned with that. No, I think that for coins that have a large amount of trading and a long existence, the technical analysis is definitely useful. It doesn't tell you things that go against the norm. However, it can tell you what the norm is, right? And it is extremely useful. Like and I think we will actually talk about that during the next segment. But if you actually use those tools, basic tools like support, resistance, and then other tools like Fibonacci for retracement, just that, and you will see that actually all of it fits into that, except a few reversals or a few unexpected things, which most of the time are very temporary.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
So we're gonna pay.
Those are the ones I trade on.
We're gonna pay Meeks for his Patreon channel. Yeah.
So I actually started pretty late, right? Like I heard about crypto, I think probably in 2015 or something, but I really didn't look at it at all. I started to look at it. It was the last week of November 2017, and really, I think Bitcoin was 8 or 12,000 at that time, and then it had just jumped from 3,500 or something, and it was crazy, right? And of course, I wasn't aware that I just had like 4 weeks of bull market, and then it was like the bear market starting. I had no idea, but I was very excited, and in fact, I was able to make a few good moves. It was honestly during the last phase of the bull market, the last 4 weeks. Usually it's very crazy. It's kind of hard not to make money. And but then after that, I kind of stopped trading. So I didn't really, I didn't put a lot of money in crypto either. And then basically I focused on working on crypto more than trading. And so I really mostly focused on Divi like you. Um, and yeah, as you said, I think that there is still a lot of potential. We have a few things coming. I think 2025 will be a year where Divi can put its heads up again. We have like a new website that is incoming. We have some communication. We want to be able to promote this new direction that is incoming with the partner. And I think that starting 2025 and the market momentum, I think it's the right time. So a Bitcoin millionaire?
You mean
Definitely
we'll
not.
finally be able to go to the Christmas tree and unwrap the present?
We'll see that.
I like that.
Not-
Sorry.
Not yet.
That's all right.
2024
come
will be
on.
other
All right,
presents.
Not yet.
But it's I forgot. I didn't even go through my stake count ordeal. I got burned by that
right.
really badly, really badly. And there's a bunch of other things of bad moves. When I'm the kind of person who should have just spent what he can afford every week or every other week and just bought Bitcoin. I'm that kind of person. And I suspect that's actually most of the people. Like I don't like trading. I don't enjoy watching a line move around. I don't enjoy the adrenaline that people get from trading. I don't like any of it.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely the kind of person who just should have, just had an automatic buy, every 2 weeks, and that's it for 10 years. That's what I should have done.
Yeah.
But and that's why I'm where I am.
But I actually want to go back to what you mentioned when you started to mention projects and your approach of looking into valuable projects and investing in them, and then now they are at zero. It is something that is also part of the journey, right? Like, unfortunately, coins that made money were not necessarily the coins that were having the best offer. And we've seen that a lot of even good tech has had many management issue, planning issues, and basically weren't able to make it through. Doesn't mean their technology wasn't great, but they just weren't able to make it through. And I
100%.
think this is something that is widespread in this industry, right? You have a lot of time good ideas, but they are definitely overshadowed by now memes or things that are basically just speculative, right?
Sure.
And I think it also explains why, if you were not kind of crazy into the trading part but were more into the technology part, you might not be among those who basically made millions, even if I think in the overall crypto most people lose money. But this is
I would say that that's where the camp I fall into, right? I obviously like the learning journey. I like the sharing journey. And I mean, it is a meme unto itself. You're in it for the tech, right? I mean, that's kind of, there's a few of us that are like that. And
We're
of
the
course,
3 people.
yeah, exactly. I mean, so that's the thing. But even more so than that, I try to live 100% the crypto life, but not in the bro coiner, right? Which we know that's a portion of our crypto world. There's a community out there. They're just crypto bros. I'm not part of that. I'm not part of the NFT crowd. I'm certainly not part of that meme coin crowd. So I may not see those extreme ups or downs. Is that a mistake? I guess so. If my vision or my goal, my ultimate, if I measured my outcome or performance based upon how much I made off of you, then I'm failing, right? Because
Well, that's for you, but a lot of people love it. I mean, look at that kid, right? That kid who got the 30,000 from pumping and dumping a coin. Like,
yeah, I mean,
that
that's
kid was.
funny. I watched that
I
kid. That
mean,
was hilarious to watch how excited he
he
got.
was. I mean, the dopamine, just you could see the dopamine flowing through his body through the video.
Yeah, yeah,
and there's tons of people like that, right? That
yeah.
they're enjoying that part of it. But I get nothing. I get nothing out of that.
They get
Like
nothing out
for
of
me,
it.
that's
His
not it.
followers are those same people, and they kind of did the same thing just to pump it while he sold, right? I mean, maybe Neeks, I think you know about it too, but I think that's funny. But essentially, what they're all doing is they're all hosing each other,
so.
Yeah.
The thing
willingly
is
hosing each
interesting
other.
because he did that 3 times, and he
Did
was
he?
able to basically rug 3 times in a row.
Yeah,
And that's pretty crazy because actually it's part of a larger story where that happened like a week ago or something like that,
it was a couple
where
weeks ago. Yeah.
Pump.fun, which is basically the most popular thing in crypto right now.
Mhm.
It's basically a layer with which you can launch your own token. It is supposed to be a fair launch platform. And because it has rules and it offers liquidity, I mean, I invite you to look into the details. That's pretty interesting. And then what happened is that they started a live streaming feature. And I mean, if you look at how it works on the internet in general, but also in crypto, competition is extreme. And so people tend to do crazy things to be able to attract attention. And we've seen really crazy behavior, people always trying to make more than the other to attract more people to pump their coin. And it went really crazy.
So
Yeah.
you combine Craigslist and WorldStar together to make a meme coin video channel, and so that's disgusting. You got the worst of the worst. Oh my
That's right.
You're just jealous.
goodness! I just had a
Yeah,
visual in my
pretty,
head. I can't get out now.
yeah, some degrading behavior, some like near torture things to be able to like get people to buy the coin, right? Some
that's just so
threats
crazy.
of bodily harm, like very crazy things. So they had to turn it off. But I mean, it just went crazy for like 24 hours or maybe 2 days.
Yeah.
I don't really remember that, but it was pretty short lived. But it went really crazy, and people went completely crazy on that. So now it's suspended. They kind of reacted as fast as they could, which shows how decentralized it is. And
Yeah.
but
Totally
yeah, I
decentralized.
think that it's also interesting because that kind of story is pretty big. It is some kind of, not a silver bullet, but a very powerful weapon to attack crypto and everything blockchain. But in fact, that thing died in a few days. It didn't even reach mass media, the mainstream, news channel that normal people, non-crypto people are watching every day. And I think it fits into the narrative that we had a few months ago, where we were asking if the news are basically the source for market movements, or if the market has its own moves and then the news come and kind of support a narrative, support a momentum. And here we can see that such a huge story, which really would be very easy to attack crypto, really died very quickly. And right after, we reached 100K with Bitcoin. And we can see that it's really not, the news are handpicked to fit a narrative during a certain momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that phase is past. It will come back again. Pump.fun isn't going away. Crypto bros aren't going away. Meme coins aren't going away. I still don't participate in those. I'll still be poor for it, I'm sure. But I don't want to be part of that crypto crowd.
Well, I mean, I am of the mind of whatever people want to do, but like I've tried to listen to those people on the trading people, and I get bored. And I try to watch the people who are talking about NFTs or DeFi or what. It's just not for me. When people who are talking about what blockchain can do and here's the things that we're doing with it, I find it way more interesting. And so that's just people find their entertainment in different ways, and that's why it's probably one of the reasons I'm not a bazillionaire because of crypto. I just trading is not my thing. Never has been, never will be.
That's why I think we're so focused on utility. I don't mean to just come back to that. Sorry, Neeks, go ahead.
No worries. So that's also something that I actually shared that with Voice earlier, and it actually aligns with what you said just before. Unfortunately, among all the projects that have been started and all the scams and all the good projects, most of them went to zero. And so this is where this whole meme thing, and this is why the speculation kind of goes there, because at the end of the day, if you can't rely on the fact that the technology is good, it kind of becomes difficult for people. And I think that the fact that it is so open that everybody can buy coins makes that people are, unfortunately, they're not doing the proper analysis, checking the team, what is their background, do they have the level, do they have the contact. See the video that we had about creating a project. It is probably not something only projects need to know about, but probably something investors need to know about, because they need to identify if this was done by the project they want to invest into. And clearly this is not done, and instead they're kind of flipping a coin, like, hey, that name is catchy, I'm gonna invest in that one. So I think it is also the fact that this industry is really not mature enough. And I do believe that with the technology that we will bring, we actually allow the whole industry to kind of move a step forward. However, the education and the responsibility, like taking responsibility, is really something that people need to do as they get more in direct contact with those kind of things.
I agree. I think the educational aspect spoke about in our last updates, right? It's going to have to start with the next generation. As we're getting older, we have to stay on top of this. But if they understand it, and maybe that's when the technology overall, the broadest reaching portion of what makes this technology great, will really start to make those advancements. That's happening today, right? People are learning this. Hopefully young people are learning this and they will be building. It's just about what they're educated upon that makes a difference. If they're educated upon the pump, the meme coin, the Twitch, kind of mentality, I suppose. I don't know. I hope so. That's what I would like to see. I would like to see crypto better lives, not just better one bro's pocket as he dumps on everyone.
Right. Yeah. I think that it is the kind of things where we don't decide, right?
No.
People decide what they want, and once they get burned enough, they will refocus, and that's I think that's the way it works.
We're almost to 104,000.
I think we just dropped down to 102.
Yeah,
But
we
Did
just
it?
tanked.
Oh, I just got a message that said
there
104.
is that fight, right? I think I told
Yeah.
that's really what I said earlier. It's not because we just passed the 100 number that we actually validated it.
Yeah.
We'll have to go a little bit higher than that to kind of secure it. Right now, if we were to go below the 100 number, however, that's probably where my 85 could become
No,
reality.
it started going down because you said
Yeah,
85.
exactly.
Like,
Well,
it's what we're saying
Let's
here.
think about this for a
I'm
second.
actually an oracle. I didn't know that.
You're an oracle. And you know what's great that leans towards what Rob and I are saying is that fear and greed scale is only at 85%. So we've got another 15% to go. My Patreon will be voice Patreon channel. And anyway.
It's funny. I went back and looked at all the things that I could have made a ton of money on, and so my wish is actually still doing it. I can't believe it.
Really?
So it's a no-code smart contract
Oh no!
project. Can't believe that's still alive. But Nebleo is totally gone. No website, no nothing. It's gone.
Well, so that's kind of strange. You know,
Yeah.
a blockchain can keep running without a website, without a team. I know there are communities out there that are collected together and they are still running these chains, individuals with nodes running either master nodes or staking nodes or even miners, and there's no other team behind it but the community supporting it. So that's strange that all of Nebleo's gone.
I will tell you, I got onto another thing that I lost money on called Copy Track, which was supposed to be like this.
Copy Track.
There's other people doing it. And it's supposed to be this way to copyright globally, because you kind of etch your picture. It's called Copy Track a long time ago, and then it turned into something called Consentum, which was just a Qtum, Qtum fork.
Yeah.
And I was the last validator on that blockchain. It connected to nothing. So I actually watched the blockchain disappear.
Well, here's a side note. I'm very close with a lot of different mods that I came up with in crypto. They're in Telegram or Discord or even some other channels. And there was a blockchain that we were all support or moderators in, and it's totally dead. Totally dead. And some of us were on multiple communities helping people. And so what I did was I fired the blockchain back up. And when you've started from scratch, you can generate any coins. And so what I did was I started it up, generated the coins, and showed the screenshot and said, "What have you guys been doing? I made all these coins." They're worthless because I'm the only validator. Yeah. Nobody else has them. It doesn't really matter. They all thought that was funny. Yep, dead.
Oh, I just got invited to a 100K party tonight. I live in Puerto Rico, so I just.
Oh yeah, maybe you can give, because look, we had another topic that we wanted to go through, but in fact, it will be again another 1 hour video, so I don't think it's worth it to do that. But
Okay.
maybe you can give some context, because we have you have been going around with the partner
Oh yeah.
to conventions. So
Oh
maybe you
yeah.
can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So I went to a bunch of events over this year. I went to Bitcoin Nashville. I went to Token 2049 in Singapore. And I just went to DevCon in Thailand, in Bangkok. And, it's going around to kind of see what's going on in the industry. And going around seeing what it's looking like for investment in the industry, and it's actually changed quite a bit over the last 6 months. Um, understandably. um, and so yeah, I went to the Bitcoin Nashville where Trump spoke at the main event there. And it's really interesting to see kind of how it works. That was my first time kind of like participating in this, and I did not know that there is, like, for example, I didn't know that there's a main event, the one where and there's some talks and speeches, and that's where Trump spoke, and then there's side events, and I did not know this. And each one of them has this long list of side events. I don't know how many were at the Bitcoin National because I didn't know about it at all then. But I suspect there were hundreds, but I only knew about a few of them, and I went to a few of these. Then in Singapore, now that I knew about that, I kind of looked them up, and once again, there was over 300 at that one. Side events. So this is not the main event. These other side events are in bars, restaurants, co-working spaces, all that kind of stuff. And what it is, so I went to engineering school in the 90s, 80s and 90s. And at that time, there were not very many women in engineering. And so you go out down to the bars, and it would be like 10 guys for every poor woman there. Being, being the center of attention everywhere. I got those same vibes at these events because there's like 10 or 20 founders of different projects for every VC. And so, and it's tough because, the VCs, they're there because they want to find projects that, that they can make money on and that can have an impact. And they want to go and look for stuff, and everybody thinks their project is the shit. And so, you got to find the VCs. So that's what all these events are for, is to attract VCs and to attract founders and get them together. And so there's like 10 or 20 founders for every VC at these events. And when you find them, it's funny to see the different types of personalities. There are the ones that are, very polite and wait and so forth. And then you'll see this other guy. I just saw this at the last one. He had a shirt on with this black shirt he wore every single day. And it was just like an advertisement written on the back of it, not mentioning the project, just saying, awesome. I can't even do the hype that he did on the back of his shirt. And then if when he identified a VC, because people were talking to somebody, he just butt right in. And I mean, I get it. That's an approach. You're showing that you are very assertive and you you want to get what you want done for your project. However, when I spoke to VCs afterward, they're like, what the hell? So like, I don't know. I don't know what the right approach is for this. I think talking to people at a very personal level, so that they can understand you as a founder, your values and things like that. I think that is the best approach. And then I went to, so that was Singapore. By the way, Singapore is a cool city. I mean, I met a lot of people that live there. They don't think living there is awesome. Not because it's low crime, it's high economy, all of those things. It's just, they say it's a little boring, which is weird to me because there's so many things there. But it's a gorgeous city. I really liked my time there. And then in DevCon in Bangkok, the crypto events started, the ones that I know about started 2 weeks before the event, the actual DevCon event. And so there was events going on before I got there, and Bangkok is this beehive of activity. Just like the streets are there are so many people there, and so much activity happening. I don't mean in an industry. I just mean everywhere. It's a crazy town. For DEF CON, there were 600 side events. So like there was just tons and tons of these things, and you go to them, and by the end of the week, I think every single founder I spoke to was exhausted. They're all going to these places. They are, you gotta keep a good attitude. You gotta, keep your emotions in check about when bad things happen or whatever, like somebody's being rude or whatever. It's really, it's tough. But
and it's all over the place, right? Like you basically have to travel from one event from the other and all that. So you kind of have to do some planning. And there are like really hundreds to go through.
There are hundreds. You cannot go to all of them. So you sign up for one because you don't necessarily get into them. So you sign up for a bunch. You figure out which ones you get into. Then of the ones you get into, you figure out which ones you're going to go to. But you simply cannot go to all the ones you get into because they're on other sides of the town or whatever. And Bangkok is super special because they don't have Uber. They got a thing called Grab there, and the traffic in Bangkok is insane. So like you get a car, it takes like 30 minutes just for it to arrive, and then like 50 minutes to go, like where it's about 50 minutes to walk. So my first time experiencing that, I Ubered a motorcycle. And so you can do that there. So you get a motorcycle shows up or a scooter shows up, you get on the back, maybe they give you a helmet. And then for me, it was 20 minutes of fearing for my life. Like they're used to it. But I was utterly terrified. And I look to my right and I see other people like calm with it. I'm like, okay, I can calm down. I look to my left. I see an entire family on a motorcycle, like 4 people and the Uber driver. And I'm like, all right, I can do this. And like, I got to that event, and it took me an hour to calm down. There was a lot of adrenaline in my body, and I never did it again. I'm like, I'm not doing that again. So then I chose events that were walking distance, no matter how long the walk was, because the traffic sucks, and I'm not doing those bikes ever again.
I remember, excuse me. I remember watching you in Telegram, trying to coordinate with some people during one of these events.
Yeah,
it's hard to just find each other, even if you're in the same convention. Oh, you're over by this. You can even share a picture of what you look like. It gets so massive that you can't find each other.
Right. So if you want to meet a vendor or you want to meet somebody you previously like had I know what you're talking about now. So that was actually at the Token 2049 event. I could not find these people.
Trying to see the Be True guys.
I couldn't find them.
Yeah.
They're telling me where they were, and I'm like, I'm standing right there, and no, that like I don't know why. I still to this day I don't know why I missed them. So I went to a different place and I met them there. But yeah, it was the BitTrue people were there. I figured I was there. I'd go see them anyway. And they were super nice, and it was great. It was great. It was great meeting, but it was loud and hard to get anything done. But we talked more later afterward. But it was, that pretty much at Token 2049, you pretty much get everybody who's in altcoin industry, and at Bitcoin Nashville or Bitcoin events, you get everybody who's in the Bitcoin industry and other industries, and especially Bitcoin like. So there's a lot of Litecoin events at the Bitcoin thing, Dash and other similar to Bitcoin, and not it's not that there were none, but less focus on EVM kind of based projects.
Which was more DEF CON, right? The last one you went to, which is more ETH based.
It was all ETH based. I shouldn't say all ETH based, all smart contract blockchain based.
Yeah.
is what I should really say. And so it was that's kind of like how frenetic these things are. It's a week of like being on, of being socializing, of like getting up early in the morning for some of these projects. What they'll do is they'll host an event, and it's a run at 7:30 in the morning, and then so you go the whole day, and then there will be parties at night. So I can't bring myself to go to parties. There's like no reason I can't talk to people. I don't like the music. So it's just not my thing. So I don't go to parties, but there are also after hour kind of drink events. I should say. I don't know what the right word for it is. They'll be at a bar on a roof or something like that, and those will go till 2 a.m. also. So you're really potentially on from 7:30 in the morning till 2 a.m. I am 56 years old. I'm incapable of holding that schedule for a week straight. But it is that alive for that amount of time for that entire week. Even if the event is only 2 days, it will be the whole week of events. And in Bangkok, it was 2 weeks. So
And I think it's really interesting when you started to explain that really it's for people to meet other people, because I think that from the outside, those conventions kind of look like only the presentations, right? Only when someone goes on a stage and does a presentation. But in fact, it goes way beyond that. It's really where people go meet. And you just mentioned the investors and projects, but it is also like influencers. It is also like anyone who is working in this industry is basically going there to make connections, right?
Totally.
And of course you can imagine and you also have a lot of curious people, right, that are not there for connection, but they hold a lot of Bitcoin, or like crypto is an important part in their life for whichever reason. Of course, investors or professionals, and they just go there because they are interested. But most of the people who go there are professionals who are looking to make more connections, right?
So I will say, like the people who are genuinely just interested and go to these events, go to the actual event, where there's all these talks and side talks and working groups and all this kind of stuff. So the people who are actually there not to raise money, not to get their project funded, not to attract eyeballs,
sell their services.
Yeah, right. So the people who are there because they're in the industry, they want to understand it, they want to learn. They are actually going to the event and the talks and so forth. And then the people like who are raising money and so forth, there isn't a lot of that at the event. They will focus on these side events, which is about, as you said, meeting people together and finding matches. It's really like financial dating.
Yeah, and I think we can give away that you're going there with the partner you're helping represent. So of course this is all very private for now. So those connections are not public. Anything that the partner would take part in is not open to public yet. There will be a time for that, but just so you understand that this is all moving forward, and this is part of the steps that needs to happen. And Rob has been helping on that and going around the world.
Exhausted.
Yeah, so when you don't see Rob in one of the communities, he's out shaking hands and kissing babies.
That's also why sometimes we dropped one episode, I think, and it might
that's
happen
right
again. So and you still have so that's what you were saying, right? You basically have one next week in Puerto Rico, right?
Well, I live here in Puerto Rico, and there's Blockchain Week here in Puerto Rico. I think it is a kind of a scaled down version of these bigger events, but it's a lot of very similar kind of things. There's no actual big. It's almost all side events. There's a thing called Tokenize, which is 3 days long. Maybe you could call that. And then there's a big party at the end called Limitless, which costs money to get into. And it's, as I said, that's not my thing. But then there are a bunch of other little side events. So yeah, we're having that now, but it's definitely not of the caliber of the Bitcoin, like Bitcoin Nashville was, or Token 2049.
Look, I understand in terms of magnitude, yes,
right? Magnitude.
Sometimes numbers is not the most important. Like it seems very clearly that Puerto Rico is an important place for the crypto industry, and so it is still interesting to take part. And I know it was also some question, like we had some questions of the community when we would do that, and clearly for Divi it is difficult to represent things there without having some budget behind or some aim to raise money. But investors are also looking for return on investment. So so this is why it's happening through the partner, and so it is. I think it was important to communicate that those things are taking place.
I think there'll be more like, so when sidechains are active and people put projects on sidechains,
For sure.
You're going to want to raise money for that project. You're going to want
100%.
to, like, all of that stuff, everything people do for smart contract projects on Ethereum, you'll be able to do in sidechains for Divi. And, if it's truly blockchain related, you're going to want to do the same kind of thing. And the key here is, you want a blockchain your project should need a blockchain for something. And then you've got a choice of a bunch of blockchains out there. We fundamentally believe that you are better off if you've got a blockchain doing the utility rather than a smart contract. You expose yourself to a bunch of different issues with smart contracts. You look more robust if it's an actual blockchain. Then something, smart contract can disappear tomorrow.
That's right.
So there's a whole bunch of reasons to do it that way. And once you're saying, okay, I have a project, I want to commit it to blockchain for these reasons, you're going to want to do the same thing. Maybe not to this degree. Maybe you don't need to raise, millions and millions. You may want to raise thousands. Who knows? Depends.
True. So I think, that's I think that's it for this video. Let's talk a little bit about the Christmas break that will happen as we're pushing this episode on the 17th. It's like next week, I guess. So we obviously won't be pushing an episode during that period. However, we'll try to make the break as short as possible. So we'll try to push an episode on Jan 14th. That's the objective. If we're not able to, for any reason, because we don't have time, we'll be looking for the 21st, so that at least pretty quickly we get with a new video. So obviously, we wish a good time to everybody during that
happy
period.
Holidays to everybody who celebrates holidays, and happy times to everybody who doesn't.
Absolutely. I think I also want to leave it with this: is as you listen to this, as we hit that 125,000+, as you prepare to sign up for my Patreon account, or Neegs's or Rob's TA analysis. No, we're just kidding. We have another technical analysis coming, not about price and pump, but we are going to be speaking about another blockchain. And there are some very, we'll just say, expansive ideals that this blockchain is going to do. And we'll be ready to talk about that. It'll be a similar talk to what we had with Cosmos, maybe a little bit more in depth. So I hope you guys stay tuned. I hope you listen to it. I hope you listen to this one and then bookmark, be prepared and ready for our future, maybe after the first of the year, Divi updates.
I know we nerd out a little bit, and I understand that as bored as I am about seeing a line on a screen go up, other people are bored about nerdy when we nerd out about stuff. But the key here is the industry has kind of settled into a couple of paradigms on how you implement utility in blockchain, and the reason that we have reasons why we think Divi sidechains and the technology the partner is bringing is fundamentally better, and not just incrementally. Like it's a paradigm change on how we do utility in blockchain. The only way you can really understand why it's different is if you understand how it's currently done in these other platforms. And so we want to go into those other platforms so people can understand.
Correct.
That's how it's done now. That's how it's done there. And then we can talk about explain more about how Divi sidechains changes this paradigm, because as I said before, it took me, when I first heard it took me a long time to understand it. I don't expect the people watching this to understand it like this.
No, I would say it's not possible.
When you understand how it's done, when you understand how it's done, you can understand why it's different and why it's better. why sidechains are better.
If you can understand what Satoshi...
2024.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you had a date in there. I'm gonna let you finish.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say we're too polite to each other.
Yeah.
And Rob will say, no, they're not. You should hear them off the call. They'll talk over each other and yell at each other. Just kidding.
Yeah.
He mutes us. Now I don't remember what I was gonna say. Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. The point is if you could do anything, simply read the white paper that Satoshi did. Simply just sit down and maybe this weekend read the white paper and think about what he proposed, what you use in Bitcoin, why it's so important, and it will give you a springboard to where we're going, because what the whole vision for this is honoring Satoshi. And that's a very big concept when you say that. It's like, what do you mean by that? It's huge. So when you talk about the tech, his tech is 5 or more different technologies wrapped into one. I don't think that the average person just goes, yes, I understand Diffie-Hellman, I understand SHA-256, I understand, this, that, or the other thing, or partition tolerance, and, all sorts of things. Nobody's going into that. But it's important that we start to, I think, level up, which is why I keep stressing educating our younger generations, because for me, it's hard. I don't know about you, Rob. I think you and I are pretty close in age, but it's hard to learn this stuff. It takes time, and it takes discovery. It's difficult. Anyway, so that's all I'm going to say is think about what Bitcoin is, and we honor that.
Nice. Yeah, so I was going to say 2024 was a year of change for Divi. We started to kind of take this new direction in, I would say, May of this year. And we had to realign a ton of things. We had to create all this fundamental communication about what we're doing, how we compare to others. And a lot of 2024 was dedicated to that. And a part of 2025 will still be looking into that. We'll be looking at what other projects are proposing, what they call trustless, how they're not trustless, why we propose is trustless. And then we'll go a little more into a more marketing-y communication, things more direct, the new website, probably some help from influencers. I think 2025 will be the rebirth of Divi after some healing during 2024.
Happy New Year's to everyone also, because we probably won't talk to you until after that first of the year. So
we'll probably be in Discord and Telegram,
I'll be in Telegram.
We won't disappear. I won't disappear. I'll be around to answer complaints and host.
Complaints? Yes, you're answering my complaints all the time. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. And again, send in your questions, post them on the YouTube channel. Yeah, it's very important to post those questions on the YouTube channel. It helps. Little thumbs up too. So make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you post comments.
Nice. Have a good end of the year.
Bye now.